welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Cofiello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how you doing tonight?
I am good. It's a new year, and we have some sad things to say goodbye to and some awesome things to look forward to. Always some Disney magic.
This is, you and I were talking before we recorded this evening, and this is always one of my most favorite shows to do because it's quintessential Disney. It's quintessential Walt Disney. Walt Disney said that when he was talking about Disneyland, that it would never be completed, that it would continue to grow as long as there's imagination left in the world. And every once in a while, we get caught up in the day-to-day life or the changes that a company like Disney has been making, and we lose sight of that. And the reality is this show for us allows us to really focus on that particular mantra, that some things are going to go away and have gone away, much to some of our chagrin, but some things are also coming, which is exciting. So I love doing this show, and I know you have just a ridiculous amount of information that we're going to go through. We're going to try to unpack it.
It's a mix for me. I have to say, I obviously love the new things coming, but I am not good with change in any part of my life.
No, we've heard that from you before.
And I say it over and over. So when we do this show and I have to kind of look back on the year and say, what are we seeing go? Sometimes it's my favorites. A couple of these things I'm really kind of okay letting go of, I'll be honest.
Sure.
Change is hard, but seeing things you love go, even though you know that's Walt's vision, is still a hard thing.
So like I was saying, we're going to do this as kind of as quickly and concisely as imaginable but there is just so much to cover. So I'm going to let you kind of go here. I'll pepper you with some questions and kind of break it down. I know we're going to start with some goodbyes. One is one that you really kind of can't seem to get over. So I'll let you take the reins on that. But there were a bunch of things that we've said goodbye to or that we're about to say goodbye to in 2022 or early 2023.
So the first one is a fake goodbye. It is a goodbye to Illuminations, which I have not let go. I have not embraced that new show that shall not be named, that hideous thing on the Epcot Lagoon.
That never goes away, ever.
I am glad to share that was kind of a placeholder show. And so we're going to say goodbye to it. We sadly are not going to bring back Illuminations unless you want to check out our YouTube channel. But we will see a new show as Walt Disney World celebrates the 100th anniversary of Disney. Still a little up in the air. Is that going to be April, May, June, July that we see that new show? We don't know yet, but we'll talk about the 100th in a couple of minutes.
Okay. What else?
We said goodbye to FastPass, which...
Controversial.
I don't know.
Controversial here. That's a big one.
Disney, don't listen to me. Show of hands. Oh, look, there's none that are happy about that change.
No.
We're settling in on Genie because we don't have a choice. But if any of the powers that be would like to bring back FastPass, every listener and every Disney file in the entire world will applaud. So let's bring it back.
I agree.
We're saying goodbye to Splash Mountain, both as we know it and in name. Again, I wish they might have just rethemed it, but Splash Mountain is leaving. There will be nothing in its place on either coast for 2023. And it's sometime in 2024 when we do this show next year, we'll be talking about saying hello to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, again, on both coasts.
Which is a big deal for a lot of folks. That's a staple. That we're saying it because it's not news to us that it's going away, but if it is news to you, I'm sorry to break that to you. You're not going to get a chance to ride that. That is going to be gone.
The next one, poor Animal Kingdom. I have had the true honor of meeting several of the Imagineers that are show designers, and they work so hard to come up with something to put on that lagoon that guests will love, that won't make noise for the animals, pollution, or anything. And we just can't seem to come up with something that sticks. So both versions of Kite Tales are gone. Jeff, I think you and I should keep our eye on eBay. Maybe we could get a cool new kite to fly.
All right, we got some resort news too.
3 different resorts we're going to talk about. The first is Boardwalk, because it is going through some pretty massive changes. This is kind of a hello goodbye in all three resort situations, actually. Boardwalk said goodbye to the bakery, to ESPN Zone, and I readily admit I miss Ample Hill.
I miss ESPN Zone, so where we go?
On the boardwalk in those places, we now have the Boardwalk Deli, so a little bit more of a fast food option, which was definitely missing there.
Yep.
Coming soon, Cake Bake Shop by Gwendolyn Rogers, and Ample Hill was replaced with Boardwalk Ice Cream. The other neat thing, and I'll be curious when we talk next year, whether this is on our goodbye list or whether this is flourishing, they have added a new spot called Carousel Coffee. And if you're a big Boardwalk fan, it is right off the lobby in what used to be the Sundries gift shop. So as you're headed from the lobby to your left to the Villas elevators, that tiny, tiny little shop on your right is now a coffee shop. They've taken out the press penny machine and some backstage area right across from it to put a couple of tables and chairs, but it's really intended to give a quick grab and go, which the Boardwalk has been missing, and I will happily check it out on Wednesday morning.
I am sure you will. I will happily check it out in March when I am there, especially where there's coffee. My wife is listening. We will definitely be there. All right. What else as far as the resorts?
Caribbean Beach Resort is getting a makeover, and more than just a makeover on the regular rooms, we are saying goodbye to the pirate rooms. They were loved and ingenious when they came, but they've served their purpose. They are the only moderate rooms that remained with double beds instead of queen beds, and the makeover is beautiful, and I can't wait to say goodbye to the pirate rooms, and we've got a future show lined up to talk all about the design of these new rooms with some Little Mermaid theming and some reconfiguration to make them absolutely beautiful.
I know the only reason you have that on there is because it's tied to the Sky Gondola. You can fool many people, but you can't fool me.
You know, it's always a good Sky Gondola time. And the next one, I know, is one that makes you super sad and many others. We said goodbye to the Polynesian Luau. It is gone. The massive tree, the nice, really old tree that was there that many brides and grooms were married under, is gone. It's a change. I'm sad to see that luau go and that area change. But I will say I can't wait to be talking to you and doing an episode about the new villas building that's going in there.
Yeah,
it should be amazing.
I agree, and it, it'll double with some new views and some new experiences. So it is one of those things that, to be perfectly honest, I know it's one of those things that's been there forever, but the show, in my perspective, my opinion, personal opinion, had gotten stale. I think it was time for a change. I don't know about bulldozing the area and raising a new hotel on it, but it is one of those things that I think fits what we had talked about with Walt's vision. It was time to make a change and continue to grow.
I wish they brought the old luau back. So my first time going there was as an adult.
Right.
But my daughter was very, very tiny. And the first show of the evening was the luau, slightly different because the characters appeared.
Got it. Yeah,
and
that makes sense. That makes sense. So we talked about saying goodbye. We talked about saying hello. This year is a little odd. Obviously, the last couple of years have been a little odd, but this year is definitely still odd. We have really kind of some limbo categories. It's like things that are still missing that we're kind of still waiting to return, right?
And 99% of the things are back, but there's just some odd missing ones. 1900 Park Fair at Grand Floridian, character breakfast, character dinner has not returned. It will be back. We just don't have a date. It is that in limbo, as you said.
Right.
Trattoria El Forno on the boardwalk, I want to be very clear. It is open. They still have yummy food. They are not part of that boardwalk change that we talked about. But they used to have one of my favorite breakfasts because it was the only spot where you could meet the princes for breakfast. It was Prince and Princess breakfast. So they're still there for breakfast, but we're waiting on their characters to come back. Also at the Grand Floridian missing is the high tea. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in that space. We've watched a lot go on, and right in front of there used to be where we saw the Grand Floridian band play that was let go about 2 years ago. So that'll be an interesting one. We're missing the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique in the Grand Floridian and at Disney Springs. It is open in Magic Kingdom. So again, I want to be clear, it is back at Magic Kingdom. But we had kind of those two satellite options. Both are gone. I do keep peeking into the one in the Grand. It definitely looks like it'll be back. It's just a question of when.
Right. Okay.
And then we have a mystery item at the theme park. Over in Disney's Hollywood Studios, The Voyage of the Little Mermaid has not come back. And again, I expected it to be one of the later things that came back because that involves the phenomenal equity people that are hired. Those live stage actors and actresses. But we've really seen everything else come back. So I'm kind of wondering if we're going to hear about some kind of makeover there. I'm not sure why that would be the only stage show that we're not seeing back yet.
Are we ready to say hello to some things?
We are.
This is exciting. We got a couple things that really have already been introduced, right? As the calendar year ended and just beginning. So unless you were there really as we were turning the calendar pages, you might have missed some of these as they've already been introduced.
And one of them we were expecting at some point. One of them had been, off and on the books for a while. But the Walt Disney World Railroad is back running around the Magic Kingdom.
Which is great. It's just great.
Over in Epcot, the digital scavenger hunt, which I am a huge fan of, has now been rethemed. It's DuckTales. Woo! Sorry, I can't say their name.
No, it was wonderful.
That.
Great job.
I really love that because for those of you who are not into Epcot or you kind of walk around, you hit up the food kiosks and you're done, this really takes you deep into the pavilions and lets the kids have fun. Lots of things in motion, super interactive. Again, we'll be having an upcoming episode on that because I'm headed to the parks to play now.
Nice. Love it. All right. What else in Epcot specifically?
Moana Journey of Water. Interestingly, Moana Journey of Water, as well as our next item that we're going to talk about, are holdovers that were supposed to be in 2022, but that little COVID thing has delayed them. But Journey of Water, we've been seeing a lot of updates on Parks Blog. It is getting super close, and I think we'll see that very soon.
The best part about that, too, to be honest with you, before I know you segue to the next thing, is it'll start to open up parts of Epcot that have been under construction. So in addition to giving another opportunity, we'll get a start to feel for what that park is actually gonna feel like as you walk around it.
Disney does a great job with decorative construction walls, but as somebody who knows my way around and knows my standard shortcuts and hasn't been able to do them in 3 years now, I'm ready to see that park again the way it's intended.
Definitely.
And the same, that holdover of Tron Light Cycle Run. And I think we've seen so many previews. There's some great Imagineering reels out there to take a look at. And I don't like to share rumors. I really try to only bring you carved in stone kind of things, but I'm going to go all out on a rumor for this one. It is pretty heavily set to be open with some previews in March and opening in April. As I said, it's running. We've seen it run actually with humans on it. Right. So not just a test. They're getting there. So I think, it's kind of down to that final punch list and we're going to see it soon. And I know there's so many that can't wait for that. Because we love coasters.
Well, and the railroad running through it, is a good sign,
that
right?
We're ready.
Yeah, definitely.
A real popular thing that to me is kind of funny that it's actually making the amount of news that it is. The fan favorite Hatbox Ghost is going to be part of Haunted Mansion starting in 2023. So the mansion will remain 99% the same, but we will see Hatbox introduced. And again, it's always amazing to me which characters that are not your lead characters pick up this huge fan following. So it'll be neat to see how they add him throughout.
Very cool. All right, let's head over to Hollywood Studios.
The Roundup barbecue that we've been waiting for. Seriously, we thought it was opening a year before COVID. That's going to be that character meal with the Toy Story characters. So everybody's been waiting for that for years, and it's going to be here sometime in 2023. We don't know whether it's 2 months from now or 11 and a half months from now, but we will see it this year. And the other thing, I'll actually be in Hollywood Studios this week, finally coming back to the parks, are the after hours parties. So January, we're going to start with after hours in Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. Those special late evening ticketed events that will get you some really super short lines to some favorite attractions.
Hey, Sandy.
Hey, Jeff.
Where can I find Hey Disney this year in the theme parks?
Hey Disney is making its way to the resorts. It's just been placed in the Polynesian, not even in all the rooms there yet. And my guess is we'll start to see it in Caribbean Beach. Hey Disney is the Disney version of Alexa. So Hey Disney will be available free of charge. There's a Disney word we don't talk about too often. On your nightstand in your resort. And you can say things like, hey Disney, where can I meet Mickey Mouse today? Hey Disney, what time are the fireworks in Magic Kingdom? Much more user-friendly than the My Disney Experience app. So, Hey Disney will be coming to you. And Hey Disney is something that you can actually purchase for home use. It won't answer all those Disney questions that you might need while you're in the resort. But again, it will, as a home-based product, give you weather and movie times and all those other things that others look to Alexa for. Of course, it is adorably Disney themed.
And every parent that has an Alexa right now is just like, I hope I can turn this thing off because eventually it's going to take over my resort room. We're going to go over to the West Coast. We're going to close out with some Disneyland and then a little bit of cruise line. But give us some things we're eager to say hello to in Disneyland.
I'm going to try and go quick through Disneyland because I know I'm over in time already. I say it all the time. If you haven't been to the West Coast, you are missing out. Not only is it where Walt walked and saw the park come to life, it's where the magic began. There's so much to see and do there. I love my time out in Disneyland. I am actually going to be going on Adventures by Disney Backstage Magic again this June. There's still space to join me. And this is the year to go. Disney will kick off their 100th anniversary at the end of January. Surprise, surprise, I'll be there to cover it for you. I can't wait.
Shocking.
I did when I was in Disneyland at some meetings last month. I got a sneak peek, and a lot of it was marked for no sharing. So I'm going to try and be real careful what I do and don't share. Obviously, every Disney celebration brings new outfits for the characters, and their 100th celebration ones are awesome. Every one of the Fab Five and then some, our classic characters, have great new outfits that we'll be seeing. Along with that kickoff, Disneyland will be reopening Toontown that's been closed for a while. And it's going to have two things to it. It's going to have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and it is not an identical version to the East Coast, we're being told.
Cool.
Very similar, but not identical. And Toontown is reopening. I can't wait to see it. I'm so super excited. When we've done our stroll through the park shows, and even when you asked me before about Little Mermaid, we've talked about where do you go when you don't want to leave, but you just need that decompression time. And the pictures of the new Toontown are awesome. They've got some sprinkle stuff you can hop in to cool down, but they've also got some lawns that you can relax on and equipment that the kids can climb, and really that spot not to wait in line and not to have that over visual stimulation. Not that the Imagineers didn't put incredible detail in it, but there's no animatronic and music and all those things fighting for your attention. So I think it's going to be amazing. They're also bringing the Magic Happens parade, a new parade that'll go through the Disneyland park. The Adventure Treehouse is coming, a new take on the Swiss Family Treehouse. And that 100th anniversary celebration will kick off in Walt Disney World in April after we finish the park's 50th birthday. So January in Disneyland, late January, and then April in Walt Disney World. We're also going to see some changes at California Adventure. World of Color, which they don't change the name of, they just kind of give it a tagline as they make their changes there. World of Color 1 is coming, and it's about celebrating the storytelling legacy and the history of Walt Disney. So I am
That sounds awesome.
pumped to see that. And then we're going to see a change to a movie that, it's funny, when I talk about this movie, I either get a blank stare or an incredible level of excitement. But the San Francisco Wharf, which is their quick service dining location with all those little kind of food courty area to it, is being entirely rethemed to San Francisco from Baymax.
Yeah, very cool.
So
Big
we'll
Hero
see a
6,
big
just
makeover
just the visual nature. That's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see that.
So again, Disneyland, those of you on the East Coast like me, totally worth that long flight. Those of you a little further west, it's a great 3-day weekend destination, and you can fit in so much there. Again, if you haven't been, it's 2 parks, not 4 like we have in World, and you can park hop back and forth all day long because the 2 parks are walking distance apart. You can see from one to the other. You can be in one and watching the fireworks from the other. But if you haven't been there, you are missing out, and let us help get you to Disneyland.
All right, let's close out with the C, Disney Cruise Line. I know we've got some things that are rumored, some things that are coming out, not as much as the rest, but let's close it out with the cruise line.
I wish I had more to say on Disney Cruise Line, because one of the things we've been talking about for over 3 years now is Lighthouse Point, which is going to be Disney's second private island.
Right.
Again, only for ships going from Florida, New Orleans, or some of the Texas make it over there. Not too far from Castaway. And they acquired Lighthouse Point many years ago. I do think, obviously, COVID set them behind. But in 2022, they put out some new drawings. And I have to say, lots of bells and whistles, lots to see and do. I'm excited to see it. Again, I don't do change, so I may still be partial to Castaway. We'll see. We don't have a new ship this year, most likely. We know that the Disney Treasure, we finally got that name, is coming in 2024. It'll be a sister ship to the Wish that just started sailing in 2023. So the same layout, but definitely some changes in dining rooms and lounges and things like that. And then we got this last bit of news last year. There was a cruise company that went bankrupt and sold off their partially designed built ship. And it's the first time that Disney hasn't done their ship literally from the ground up. So they bought what is called the Global Dream. It is in Wismar, Germany right now. Unlike their other ships that are always in Papenburg, the factory in Papenburg will be overseeing the crew in Wismar because they've done such great things for Disney before. The Global Dream will get a new name, and we are hearing it most likely will not ever have a U.S. port as a home port. So no true Disney Cruise Line news to give you for 2023, but lots out there with the ships, lots to see and do. They've really upped their game this year with added opportunities on Marvel cruises and Pixar cruises. So those are some great winter opportunities with a lot of new add-ons this year.
Well, and if you've listened to our hello and goodbye shows, you know that we do at some moments talk about movies and television shows and things like that you know tend to hit the open market. We're not going to do that today because we could be here for days, for months, for years, especially with the explosion of Disney Plus. But I do think that we are in for a very, very fun year as Disney fans. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about tonight before we say goodnight?
I think you said it best at the beginning. Disney is always changing, which is why we all keep going back, because as hard as it is to say goodbye to things, the Imagineering team continues to astound me with their creativity, their attention to detail, and just bringing us into that magic over and over again. You really, as a Disney adult, can love it more than Disney kids sometimes. So I do love the new things, and I'm looking forward to a great year ahead with so many to share with you and our listeners.
I am too. And Sandy, thank you for taking the time tonight to break these things down. You are the Disney master, and I appreciate your input. Have a great week.
You too.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share, have them like, and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.